Hello friends, welcome to the Jazz Ranch Hip Cats and Groovy Chicks. Tonight I'm going to be talking about fake books. Now, the pros and cons of using fake books. Now, we all use them, we rely on them to learn songs, particularly because they're just lead sheets in which we can learn the melody of the song and the chord changes. However, there are many limitations and pitfalls. It's better to learn from recordings. But I'm going to talk about how to work with fake books. And a specific song I'm going to play for you time after time. I'm going to show you how to use the fake book charts and improve them and get them to sound more like the professional recordings that you hear. So here we go with Time After Time. I'm going to play it for you and then talk about it and give you some illustrations from fake books after this. Here we go. Hello, welcome to the Jazz Ranch Studio. I'm going to be talking about what I played, and I'm going to be talking about specifically about fake books. Now, fake books are how we learn tunes in this day and age, and probably for the last 30 or 40 years, that's how we've learned them, is through fake books. Now, you can also learn them through the original sheet music, which could be better, not necessarily, but the best way to learn songs is through recordings of great artists and great musicians and performers and singers who have performed these songs, and they are probably using the best arrangers who have taken the sheet music and made it into, have perfected it in a certain way. And over time, you will learn how to do this using fake books. But fake books are an easy way to learn a song in a way that you just have the melody and chord changes, or a chord progression. Now, the good thing about fake books is that you get the melody, and it's usually relatively accurate in terms of the notes, but not so accurate in terms of the phrasing, how you would want to phrase it, but that's also a personal thing. And every musician will phrase it differently. But also, you'll get a chord progression which might be close, but not the best, and not accurate in a lot of ways. And I'm going to show you an example in this video of the song Time After Time from two different fake books and how they differ. So what are you going to do? Now, what I always suggest is look at the original sheet music and look at more than one fake book, and then try to get some sort of assimilation or some sort of idea about what the best chord progression is, and the best way of interpreting the melody is by having a few sources rather than just one. Now, my best suggestion is to listen to great artists who play the song or sing the song. Now, I'll give you some examples. Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, particularly Ella, usually sings the melody pretty correctly. Secondly, if you listen to Errol Garner, he usually plays the melody and the chord changes about as accurate as you're going to get them. And also George Shearing would be another one. Now, if you listen to people like Miles Davis or Bill Evans, Ahmad Jamal, you're not going to hear the melody played exactly the way the composer wrote it. You could listen to recordings of George Shearing playing his own songs. That's pretty accurate. But I mean, jazz artists are going to interpret them. And that's what you want to do as a jazz artist. You want to interpret the song. But the fake book will help you to get an idea in a simple way of what the melody is like, and perhaps close to the right chords, but not enough. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you in this video how to interpret the fake book arrangement of the song and how to improve it. Now, like I said, you're not going to learn this from listening to Bill Evans' interpretation of a song, or Miles Davis in particular. You're not going to learn it from him. Or even John Coltrane. Even if you listen to John Coltrane's ballads, you'll get close to the melody, but he's always going to be phrasing it a certain way, and there's going to be some certain reharmonization of the song. So I'm going to show you how to take the fake book arrangement and fix it. And that's what you need to learn. And this is not something you will understand as a beginner. It's only through experience of playing with musicians, listening to recordings, listening to the greats play it, and figuring out what they're doing and how they have improved, in many cases, improved the original sheet music, which is some publisher wrote out. Gershwin didn't write out the sheet music. A publisher did it, and somebody he hired to do it. It wasn't Gershwin who wrote it out for him. And even Gershwin didn't always write the best chords. In other words, if you're a jazz player, you're going to play with 2-5-1s. You're going to interpret a song in a way that is going to make it better to improvise on. So that's what I'm going to try to show you in this video. I'm going to show you a couple of examples from fake books, and then how I took these two examples, and you need to have more than one, and then interpreted them in ways that I have learned how to interpret not only a melody in terms of phrasing it and interpreting it, but also the chord progression, which is almost more important than the melody line, because you'll always get close to the melody line, but the chord changes may be totally wrong or just not as good as you can get. So here we go. We're going to look at time after time. I'm going to show you examples from 2 fake books now. I'm not going to tell you which fake books they are, because the publishers will get on my back, and they have a copyright issue with this. But I'm just going to show you the 2 examples, and then I'm going to show you how I fix them. And the interesting thing is, you have to learn a song from more than one fake book. In other words, find one fake book interpretation, then look at another one and compare them and try to come up with the best solution that you can. Not only in the melody, but in the chord progression, in particular, the chord progression. You want to fix that. And this only come from experience, but now you're looking at this and you don't maybe have this experience, but I'm going to show you what I would do, and it's based on my years of experience and how I would fix these particular arrangements. So here's the first one. I'll show you 2. So you're going to get to see 2, and then I'm going to show you my interpretation of both these 2 arrangements and what is not good about them, or what needs to be fixed. Here we go. Here's the view. Okay, the first arrangement was what I would call the weakest, and not so good. The second arrangement was a little better. But the first arrangement had a problem right in the first measure, and that was it resolved the C chord for the first measure, even though the melody was moving. And you need another chord in there. So what you need is a 1-6-2-5 progression. So that's what I did. Was that we're in the key of C, so you need to have the 1 chord moving to the 6 minor there, instead of just staying on the 1 to the 2 and the 5. You need to have the 6 in there. In other words, you need to have more harmonic movement, or more bass line movement. Everything is about bass lines. Bass lines are paramount. Once you get the bass line right, the melody is given. So the next thing you have to figure out what is correct is what is the best bass line for that melody. First thing, melody. Second thing, bass line. Third thing, how are you going to harmonize it? Is it minor or major? Is it dominant, 7th, whatever it is? And after that, how am I going to reharmonize? In other words, how am I going to make it more hip or better harmonic movement? So, first thing is 1, 6, 2, 5. Now, are we going to go back to 1 here? Which there you have in the first arrangement, and also in the second. I'm going to change that. I'm going to make it a 3 chord. Even though the melody is the E, what I'm going to do is have the bass go to the 3 chord there. Why? Because the 3 is a great substitute for the 1. And why just sit on the 1 chord? No. 1, 6, 2, 5. 1. Why stop the motion? As soon as you go to the 1 chord, you stop the motion. You stop the forward motion. Now, You may not understand that, but believe me, that's what's happening. If you go back to 1, better is to go and then even there, back to 1 there, see, so try to avoid going to 1 too much in a song. So you have this. What I did here, you have 2 measures of the 1 chord. And then the 7, minor 7, flat 5. So those 2 measures, I'm going to do something with them to give you some kind of movement, harmonic movement. So what I do, now this is interesting because it's something you can always do. You can always play scale tone 7ths as a progression. So I did it ascending on the melody because it works with the melody, and then on the solo chorus where I'm improvising, I did it in reverse. Rather than going 1, 2, 3, 4, I did the reverse. I did 4, 3, 2, 1. Why? Because the 4, 3, 2, 1 leads me to the B minor 7th chromatically. 4, 3, 2, 1, right down the scale. So scale movement diatonically is always going to work, So here, so you can hear it. You see how that works with the melody perfectly? And then moving through the solo. Moving into the 6th chord, the A minor chord, by way of its 2-5. So now that's why I played the progression there, taking me to the 7th chord. So 2-5 into A minor. So we are moving now into the relative minor from C. Now here, pretty much the better of the 2 fake books has the right progression where we go from the 6 down to 2, 5 of the 3 chord. F sharp minor 7 flat 5, B7. Now what I do here is instead of just sitting on E minor like this, perfect place to put the 5 of E minor. Now why do we do that? Is because you can always put a 5 in front of a 1 whenever a 1 is functioning. So E minor now is functioning as a 1 chord. We're sitting on the E minor, which is actually the 3 chord of the key, but we're sitting on it. So why not put its 5 in front of it if it works with the melody? And it works perfectly with the melody with that F sharp. That's an altered note in the melody, that F sharp. Now we have this, we have that B flat in there. What's that doing in there? Well, it really needs the A7 with the flat 9, which is taking us to the next chord, which is the 2 chord, the D minor. Now, why stay on the D minor for the whole next 2 measures? Why not go to do the same concept of putting its 5 in, or some related chord would be A7 or C sharp diminished. Now, why is the C sharp the same as its, I would say, 5 of D minor? Because it's just an inversion of the A7. With a flat 9. Now, the A7 works there beautifully on that F because it makes the A chord augmented. And then the next chord would be a G7, but we're going to alter that to a half step above it. Why? Because it's the sharp 11, like a tritone, acting as a tritone substitute of a D minor to a G7, tritone substitute, half step above. Now I do a drop 2 here. If you wondered what that sound was, why did I do that? Now, I learned this from Bill Evans, is that you always change octaves when you're repeating yourself, because you don't want to repeat yourself. You don't want to just play the same thing that you played before. Change it up. And now change it up with a drop 2, which is a beautiful sound instead of going like this. Instead of doing that, do something different. Beautiful sound. Now we're repeating ourselves until we get to here. 2-5 into the 4 chord, and then put that, it's related, you know, like make it a 2-5 B flat chord there now. Now here's where you have to fix the chord progression in the fake book. It goes to the C. Now why would you go to C there? It doesn't make any sense at all. You would not go to the 1 chord there. You would go to some chord that is going to take you continuing the forward motion and continuing the story of the song. So what it is the 6 relative minor going down stepwise to that F sharp half diminished and then F minor. Now you say, well, where are you getting that from? Well, partially it's in the sheet music and it's also in the fake book, but also it makes a lot of sense because you want motion, you want harmonic motion to take you to that 3 chord. See, that takes you the 6 down, moving down to that 3 chord, that E minor. I'm sorry, that's the 3 chord to the 6 chord. Okay, so now here's the thing. We're going to the 2 chord dominant. That's probably the most interesting chord in the whole song because you don't expect it. You know, you expect something like this. But to get that 2 chord in there like this. That really is unique because you haven't heard it, you haven't played it yet, and it's there and it's very pretty. And then put a diminished, E flat diminished in there to get you to the 3 chord. 3, and then you have a 3-6-2-5 progression. You see, so there you have the whole outline of the song in its perfection, in its beauty, because you cannot have a great melody without a great chord progression. And there you have it. Now you're not going to get that from a fake book. You're going to have to fix it. Now you're going to have to learn that from Errol Garner or George Shearing. To some degree, Bill Evans, you may learn the chords, but you won't learn the melody. Oscar Peterson will give you that. You know, I mean, the greats will give you that, and I'll give it to you. But there you have it. There you have how to improve, how to take a fake book, use it to your advantage, fix it, and make it better. So, we'll do part 2 next. We'll give you another example, but we'll sign off now. Signing off from the Jazz Ranch. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please write to me. I love to hear from you. If you want more videos talking about fake books and songs from fake books and how to analyze them and how to improve them, please write to me. I love to hear from you, and I will always respond to your comments. If you look at my videos and you read the comments, you will see that I do respond if you give me enough time. Until next time, I'll say in the words of my great friend upstairs, Hermie Dressel, whenever I left his office, he always said to me, swing loose. And we'll see you next time around. Bye-bye.